We are live.
We are live. Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's Jessica and Tiffany and Christy. Velma's probably going to bed right about now, so she's
yes.
So we are here to talk to you about human design. And we know a lot of you are like, what is it they're talking about? And I was like that for a while too. And these gals got me interested. And at first I was like, I ain't got time for this. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of interesting. I'll just pick up a little here and there. And then they sucked me in, and I keep diving in, and I love it. So we're here to talk just a little intro, like what is it, just a little bit, and like why we love it and how it's useful, like practical in our lives. So that's the goal for today. And then we're going to post this in the events. And then our goal is to get you all at least an introduction so that you can understand how it could help you, because it really is life-changing in a lot of ways. Like, don't you think? I mean, I think so. And if you can go get your free chart, download it. It's really easy. You don't even have to put an email in. You can screenshot it. I have mine printed out so I can kind of like make notes and stuff. And then when we do lives and events and we post graphics and all that, you can like get your chart out and check and see like, how do I fit into this? How does this apply to me? And then eventually you're going to want to do like your significant other and your kids. And it's just, you're going to be like guessing who is what. And that's a projector. That's a generator. But to get started, download your chart and then post it so we can all see what kind of type you are. And so I'll pass this off to Christy and let her tell you a little bit about her experience with human design and why she loves it.
I love it. I'm obsessed with human design. So I love how you said, like we introduced it to everybody, to you, to Vilma, and everybody's like, yeah, this is cool. This is great. And then I feel like we've all like come back around to it, which is the same way that human design came into my life. I was like, this is cool. This is great to learn about myself. And then I set it aside. And then it was like human design had a whole other plan for me. And boom, here we are now. So I really love human design. I like to call it just a system of self-discovery. We can get really technical and break down what it is, the science behind it, and all of that. But what it boils down to is it's literally, I call it like a map. It's like a map of you and how you're designed and your gifts and your traits and where you can learn about yourself. And for me, it's been a lot of self-acceptance, a lot of, because I'm a manifesting generator. So a lot of just like, well, that's why I am the way I am. That's why sometimes, my energy behaves in that way. That's sometimes why I don't have the energy for this thing, but yet I'm still doing it. So I feel like it just helped connect the dot of so many things, not, only in the way that my like energy worked, but also in the way that like, why do I do these certain things? Why does like having a routine feel so good to me? Well, that's because I have like gate 5, which is the gate of routines, show up in my chart 4 or 5 different times. So it's just all these really cool things that it was like every time I unlocked this piece, I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder. And I got to the point where I would show my husband my chart and I'd be like, this person in this chart is so cool. And he's like, that's you, weirdo. like, I know, but I'm so cool on this chart. But so getting to then start tapping into that and like, realizing like, this is me, like I can tap into these pieces and I don't have to, kind of tamp myself down. I don't have to like put a lid on it. I don't have to not just be my crazy weird self, but all over the place. And you're like, Christy, what's going on? So it was just a lot of self-acceptance and a lot of just learning about myself is really what it's brought to me. And like Jessica said, getting to dive into like my kids, absolutely obsessed with learning more about their energy and how I can help support them and, what things I can encourage them in and understanding, how their energy works. And understanding, why one of my boys would always be so tired when he pushed himself to do like sports and school and all these things. So it's just, it has so much real life application that you can, that you can see and that you can apply as well. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what it is. Like I said, there's some science behind it. It brings together some things like astrology. If you ask my husband, he calls it astrology on steroids. So I told him that's perfect. It's perfect. So it brings together astrology, quantum physics, the chakra system, the Kabbalah, Tree of Life, the I Ching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's all of these kind of old systems of wisdom brought together, and just, oh my goodness, I hear my kiddo yelling at the dog. Sorry guys, this is what happens in my house.
What happens
yeah,
after ice cream?
Yeah, after ice cream. And the dog's been going crazy today, just barking at everything, and they get mad at her. She's so annoying. Like, I know. Ignore her.
So are you.
We're outside. So back on track. The yelling's done. So that's really what human design has done for me and brought value, how it's brought value into my life. So
I like what you said too, like about your son, like why is it harder for him to keep up with like the sports or whatever? Like I feel like so many of us are asking, like, why do I have a problem with this and no one else does? Like, I'm like that. Like, why don't I have the energy that everyone else has? And so then with human design, y'all, we're like, you're a projector, you're not supposed to, like, it's perfectly okay. And then we all accept one another for the way that we are, as opposed to, why don't you fit in this mold or this box,
Mm-hmm. And we
so
can
not only, sorry, what?
I was saying we can remind each other too, because I love that, because we'll see you start, and we're like, Jessica, don't forget to rest. And we get to, we get to see that for each other as well, to help each other.
Right, exactly. We learn how each other work as well.
Yeah.
And then also I love, like, the week I spent with Tiffany, I was riding waves on her energy. And so normally I wouldn't have understood that, well, why did I have so much energy this week? Well, it's because I'm borrowing energy from a generator. So yeah, it just kind of helps you like understand the why, the way that you are and the way that others are. And I think that helps us give grace to other people and ourselves, because we're not all expecting. So now when I see a generator that's like, go, 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 and like maybe they're abrupt and they're brief, I'm like, we need those people in the world. I'm like, yes, they're not going to sit and talk about my feelings for 2 hours, because that's not what they do. Because if we all did that, nothing would ever get done. So I appreciate that. Like, we need those people to keep us moving. And then some people like you, Christy, you're like all over the place with your ideas. Like, we need that too. Because if we had everybody stuck in a rut, focused on one thing, how boring would that be? So it's like we need all of the different types. And for me, that's really what it's been. It's just like liberation to be yourself and to let other people be themselves.
Right. Well, I love the story that you told about your projector waiting for the invitation that you just told to us.
Yeah. So before we started the live, I was telling the girls how I noticed at work, like, I used to like offer information. And so I started to do that the other day. And then I stopped and I paused and I said, is it okay to share this information? So as a projector, I have what we call, a probing aura. So like I do really well one-on-one, and I like really zone in on a person. And so we're like the guides or the shaman or the, we see a lot more, kind of like the empath, the HSP. I mean, not that you have to be a projector, but I kind of identify it with that whole similarly. So, but I asked, I said, can I share this information? I normally would have just done it, and then they might have been offended, or, they might have been like not wanting to hear it, and then I would be frustrated. So being able to ask them permission, they're going to be much more open, or wait for them to ask me. So then, I noticed another point in time, we were doing like an in-service, and I started to share something and nobody heard me, and everybody was just kind of like, it's not that I didn't talk loud enough, they just ignored me. And so instead of being offended, I was like, well, I'm a projector. No one asked, because as a projector, we have to wait for people to ask us to share. It doesn't mean we have to wait to do anything. We just have to, like, we do what we do, and then they see it and they go, oh yeah, can you help me with this? Or what do you think? But you can't just show up and offer your opinion. So instead of being offended, I just was like, well, nobody asked me. That's why no one heard me. And so then a few minutes later, someone did ask, and I was able, and they were able to hear me. But it's really helpful now, I was telling the girls, because I don't waste my energy. You know, sometimes we see something and we're like, I could help you with this. They may not want our help. Like, they need to ask for it, or we need to at least ask permission to share it. And then say, okay, because if they don't, then you share, then you're wasting your energy, then you're frustrated. How come nobody wants to hear what I have to say? And so that's really helped me a lot, just knowing where to put my time and resources. So I really enjoyed that. How about you, Tiffany? Tiffany's not feeling the greatest right now.
Yeah, I'm just observing and listening. I love it. Yeah, the human design really changed the way I flow. Like, I'm a pure generator, meaning that my authority in making decisions comes from my sacral and listening to my gut, literally listening to the sound. And before that, I'm a Virgo also, by the way. So like, I wrote lots and lots of lists, and I felt like I had to check off the list to like feel accomplished that day. And the gal who read my chart, that was one of the things in my channels was just go with the flow and listen to your sacral to see like, where does your energy lie that day? And it's been such a game changer, because the stress level went from like 10 to 0. I wake up inspired. Because your strategy as a generator is to respond. So I literally just meditate in the morning. I wait to respond to what I need to do. I listen to my intuition, and then I just go for it once I listen. And I feel really like in the flow, and my energy is not being wasted when I do that. So that's been huge.
Yeah, it's kind of like, instead of swimming against this current, you're swimming with it.
Yeah, it does.
You know, it's like, okay, this is the way that you're designed to operate. These are your gifts. These are the areas available for growth. And then you go, oh, okay. And you're not trying to fit into a different, and you're not trying to go against the grain. You're just working within the way that you're designed to work. Yeah. Which probably intuitively we would do if society didn't tell us not to. You know?
Yeah, well, and it's like everyone thinks that, like, I feel like we were talking about this the other day. You think that everybody experiences life as you do, like in your body, but that's like 100% not true. Every single person experiences life as their human design has wired them to experience it. So it even it's helped me tremendously with my relationship with my husband, because I was able to look at my chart and go, oh, like my biggest thing is I always felt super like he was mad at me all the time. He really wasn't ever. It's just his solar plexus, the emotional center, is defined and mine is open. So I would feel the cycles, and I would think, then I would feel them in my open and amplify them. And then I would be like, oh no, like he's really quiet. I wonder if he's upset. And it's not at all. Like I would ask him, or I would just observe him. And then all of a sudden he'd like blurt out, because he also has a undefined throat. He would blurt out something funny and like, or a funny noise. And I just over time learned, like, yeah, okay, got it. I completely understand now his weird quirks, and it has nothing to do with me. It's all his design.
Yes, that's true. Yes. We don't take offense anymore, because we realize, like,
yeah,
they're expressing, and yes, they're
open solar plexus people.
Yes. Yes. Because you're absorbing everybody's emotions. Yeah.
Yes.
That and the open G center, my understanding, those two are the big ones for absorbing other people's stuff, right? Yeah, so it's and then you realize like why you feel differently around different people too.
Yep.
You know, like I feel really good around this person, not so good around this person. I mean, there's more to it than human design, but it does answer a lot of that, you know.
It does.
So that's really been nice too. Like, and even noticing like whose energy you're borrowing from and who's draining you. So,
Yep.
in what areas? So I have a defined head center and ajna. So like, I don't feel like people can sway me with like ideas or like I'll change, you know what I mean? Like, I'm open-minded, but I'm not just going to follow whatever train. I can make up my own mind. But like, my identity center is open, my G center is open, and my spleen is open. So yeah, so it's, yeah, you kind of see where your opportunities are for growth and where you're doing okay. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, and your open G center, that's like yourself, and that's what gives you the talent to be able to coach people, because you feel what they're feeling, and then you can use your defined head and ajna to be able to conceptualize and help coach them into a different route, or like a more peaceful, or with your wise advice.
And you know what else I loved? The intuitive gates were really interesting to me. And what's really cool, okay, so I was at work and I was talking to Shauna. She's in our group and she's a physical therapist. She's really she's a highly sensitive person. But we never have time to talk because we see patients all day, one after the other. And so maybe we get 5 minutes here and there. And I don't know, we briefly talked for a minute one day and we're talking about, she said Mars was in retrograde or something like that, along those lines, something about astrology. And I was like, oh, you interested in that? She goes, yeah, but it's really interesting. It's human design. Have you heard of it? And I'm like, have I heard of it?
Love it.
Yes. And so it's cool to see more and more people are becoming aware of it. And then she mentioned that the gate 57 was now, and how it was your knowing gate. And so then I was like, oh, well, now I gotta explore this. And so then it was like, there are all these gates that are like intuitive gates. So yeah, it's like, there's so much to learn. And I keep thinking like, God, I feel like I could study this forever, and I like that. There's always more and more to discover. So, and eventually I'm going to buy that book.
Eventually I'll get it.
And then I'm like, do I even have time to read another book? Like, probably not, but eventually I'll get it. But yeah, really.
What I love is it's like a real life experiment too, though. Like, you get to see just how much it does mirror, patterns you've been playing out in the past, or traits that you have, or just the way that you operate. It was just like, it's so eerily aligned.
Yes. And isn't it cool though too, when you see somebody and you're like, they're a total generator or they're a total manifester, and you're like, yep. Or
I do that to my podcast. I do that to my podcast desk. I am like, do you know about human design? Because I'm almost positive you're like a projector or a man-gen.
So do you check them after sometimes?
I don't. I ask some of them, and some of them, if they seem interested about it, like, we'll dive more into it. But if they're just like, no, I don't know, I don't mention anything else about it.
Right. You kind of see if they're open to it or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I noticed a lot of the people that I'm finding that are teaching human design are projectors. I don't know if that's just the ones I've come across, but it seems like it's a common
theme. I mean, it makes sense because they're kind of like our new guides and leaders.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I've seen a mixture. Some of the people that I've learned from, I've seen a mixture.
I'm sure there are. And even if you are a man-gen or a generator or a projector, there are different types among that too. So depending on everything else. So that's been, there's a lot of interesting things there.
Oh yeah. And there's so many influences, so many different ways that, like, we could be the same type, but the way that everything else, lays in your chart, or, what's defined and undefined can just make a difference too. So it's just cool how unique it is. So it's like, yeah, you're a projector, but you're still not like any other projector.
Right.
You know?
Unique talents and areas for growth. And yeah, and I really like got the whole, like, a lot of times I feel like I know exactly what's going on. Like, I understand it, but I can't put it into words. I'm like, I really do know it, but I can't say it.
Yeah.
And having that undefined throat and that lack of connection from, like, my head and ajna, I have gates that are, or channels that are connected, but not to the throat. So yeah, it's like sometimes it's there, but I can't quite get it out.
Down.
So it's like, I realize that, like, that's okay. Like, you know, you make it work, but it helps to answer the question as to why is this such a hard time for me? So yeah, it is. It's cool. So we're hoping you guys will download a chart and just follow along, you know, when we talk about human design, and just kind of like we have. I mean, first it's kind of like you're just kind of picking up a little bit, like, oh, let's take a look over there. Oh, that's interesting. And then you just kind of like keep coming back, like, oh, I gotta look at that again, you know? Yeah, it just kind of pulls you in. So awesome.
Right.
Do you guys have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Yeah, just make sure you drop your charts so we all can see them, and you can follow along with us.
Yeah, I figure, you know, it'll be nice if we can, maybe we should post our charts. You guys want to post our charts in there?
Yeah, we could do that.
Maybe just to show, like, a little bit of just a basic, and then they can see the charts. And then
yeah,
the link is in. So I posted the Jovian link. I like not having to put an email in. I don't need more emails.
You're right. That's perfect.
Yeah, and it's nice because you can pull up as many charts as you want. It's really quick. It's really easy. And then you can find some basic resources there as well. And then for free, you know. And then as we talk about it, people can kind of absorb a little bit more as we go, and just see if it's something that resonates with them or not. So, and we're all kind of at different levels. Like, I feel like what Christy and Tiffany have been doing this a while. I'm newer to it, but you know, it is fascinating, and I think we are all absorbing a little bit of different information, because I find us like learning from each other, you know. Yeah. So what you read in her book about gate 10, I read that too, about gate 10. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. How it's like the kind of like self-love.
Yeah, at Tiffany's book, gate 10 and gate 34 together.
Yeah, yeah, really cool.
Right.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. And if you have any human design questions, feel free to ask. Go to the link, download your chart. It'll take like 5 minutes. You enter your birth date, where you were born, the time. If you don't have the time, what I've heard people do is they put in 3 different times, or just put any time, and you'll at least get the type right. And I've done my chart at 3 different times, and they're so similar. There might be a few gates that are different, but if you don't know the time, what some people say they do is they'll do like a 6 a.m., a 12 p.m., and a 6 p.m. and see which one seems closest, you know. But so yeah, pull up your chart, post it in the events, and we'll start talking human design. All right, everyone, have a good day. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, did it stop?
Good job. Yeah, it stopped.
It looks like it. Okay. Yeah.
Yay. That went all right?
Yeah, that